From blowing up in 2021 with their viral hit, Racist Sexist Boy, to opening for huge bands like Paramore, Green Day, Bikini Kill, and Blondie, this young and hungry rock band has what it takes to put rock in a chokehold. It all started back in 2018 when the co-founder of Save Music in Chinatown, Los Angeles, Martin Wong, was contacted by a musician friend of his, Christian Control, wondering if his daughter, Eloise, would be interested in playing at a music festival she was hosting called Girls School LA, alongside other aspiring kid musicians. Christian is best known as the founder and lead singer of the indie rock band Dum Dum Girls, with whom she released 5 studio albums between 2010 and 2014. The reason Eloise was asked to be a part of this festival was due to Christian seeing photos and videos of her singing at Save Music previously. Martin then threw up an alley-oop for his sister, Angeline, and brother-in-law, who happens to be the famous producer, Carlos de la Garza, by suggesting that their daughters, Lucia and Mila, come along with Eloise to perform. The three often sang, danced, and performed together growing up, so it made perfect sense to Martin. Following the recruitment of more kids by Control, Angeline and Martin's wife, Wendy Lau, reached out to the daughter of one of their family friends, Bella Salazar, to join the band too, since she was taking guitar lessons at the time and they needed someone who could play an instrument. At this point, Bella was 13, Eloise had just turned 10, Lucia was 11, and Mila was only 7. In order to prepare for the show, Carlos let the girls use his backyard studio and became one of their coaches. For the show, the kids only performed covers, with one of them being the Dum Dum song, Bang Bang, I'm a Burnout. In one of his WordPress articles, Martin reflects on the event and even interviews Christian about why she chose to get a band of random kids to play with only a couple of weeks to prepare instead of playing her own set. She responded by saying, "I had a gut feeling, pulling the spotlight off myself was the way to go. Sometimes you find yourself in a weird transitional spot and it just doesn't feel like the right use of my energy to try and cobble together a KK lineup / set. I love kids and it seemed much closer to the nature of girls' school to work with them." Originally, the group of Eloise, Mila, Lucia, and Bella was going to be a one and done. Instead, fate worked this magic, and things would change when Bella was invited to open a show for Frida's Roses, to which she would bring the rest of the girls along with her to be her backing band. From then on, the band would officially be named the Linda Lindas and would build up their popularity in Chinatown by performing at Save Music with other bands such as Best Coast, Alex Bag, and Bleached. Their name actually comes from a song by the Japanese punk rock band, the Blue Hearts, named Linda Linda, which Martin recommended to them after watching a movie named Linda Linda Linda. This movie was about a group of girls who started a punk rock band covering the band's songs. Another cool thing about the band is that their stage names are Linda Linda with a number associated with them after. Bella is Linda Linda number 1, Eloise is Linda Linda number 2, Lucia is Linda Linda number 3, and Mila is Linda Linda number 4. Although building up their experience with their Save Music performances was nice for their growth within the community, the band wanted to take that next step towards making their mark on the industry. April 26, 2019. It's a lively LA night, and the Linda Lindas are set to open for the band Bikini Kill at the Hollywood Palladium. It's a roaring environment, nothing like the girls have seen before. Would they let the pressure get to them, or would they go out there and put on a show for the city of angels to admire them? Of course they delivered, making the crowd frantic with their covers of both popular and obscure rock songs. Little did they know, the famous comedian Amy Poehler was in attendance, leading her to ask the band to record a few songs for her upcoming movie at the time, Moxie, which was an adapted screenplay from the 2017 novel. During their interview with the LA Public Library, Eloise stated that she thought the band was too young at that point to record the songs, but the lead singer of Bikini Kill, Kathleen Hanna, pushed for them to do it since she believed that they were the only ones who could do it right. Over a year later, on December 16, 2020, they would finally release their debut self-titled EP, which featured 4 songs on it titled Missing You, No Clue, Monica, and Never Say Never. This would be a nice achievement for the band. Yet, this moment pales in comparison to their Teen-tastic Tuesdays performance where they debuted their viral song, Racist Sexist Boy, at the LA Public Library. A clip of this performance garnered millions of views, and most importantly, praise from several popular musicians such as Kid Cudi, Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, and Hayley Williams from Paramore. During their interview from this performance, Mila talks about the song's inspiration.
A little while before we went into lockdown, a boy in my class came up to me and said that his dad told him to stay away from Chinese people. After I told him that I was Chinese, he backed away from me. Eloise and I wrote the song based on that experience.
Facing discrimination pushed the band to voice their frustrations against this boy and everyone else who discriminates against others. After seeing their viral success and potential, Epitaph Records, a punk/pop rock oriented record label based in Hollywood, announced that they were signing the band to their label on May 22nd, 2021. Another popular band under Epitaph that you may know of is the All American Rejects, who had their own meteoric come up in the early 2000s with hits like Gives You Hell, Move Along, and Dirty Little Secret. On June 3rd, 2021, the Linda Lindas would make their first late night show appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel Show, where they would perform Racist Sexist Boy, riding off the virality they experienced a month prior. Following this, they would release their next single, Oh, with an accompanying music video on July 21st. The song was even featured in the Netflix series The Chair. It would be several months until the band would reappear, bringing with them some significant news in February 2022 as they finally announced their debut album, Growing Up, as well as the release date of the title track single. Growing Up would release on April 8th, 2022 to generally positive reviews on Metacritic and even an 8 out of 10 from Pitchfork, who are notorious for their strict and sometimes questionable reviews in my opinion. A few days later, on the 11th, NPR Music would upload the band's Tiny Desk concert, which would go on to amass over 500,000 views. To finish off their strong 2022 campaign, Racist Sexist Boy would go on to be nominated for Best Song at the 2022 Kerrang Awards. Heading into 2023, the band would achieve another big milestone in April as they would make their first ever appearance at the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival in Indio, California. Unfortunately, they did deal with some technical issues during their set, since only Eloise's microphone worked perfectly and Bella's guitar took a minute to come through the mix. Even with these obstacles in their way, the girls managed to make the best out of everything by harmonizing and singing lead vocals on the single microphone, while still smiling and jumping around. In between songs, Eloise took the opportunity to address how crazy the world is becoming due to issues such as gun violence and anti-LGBTQ legislation, primarily focusing on those who are transgender. The following month, they even became the first band to perform at the Scripps National Spelling Bee. You know, I was in a spelling bee once in 2nd grade, but the lights got a little too bright for me and I think I choked on a pretty easy word in like the 2nd or 3rd round. Getting back on topic though, one of the biggest moments so far would come for the girls over the summer as they would open for the popular band that I definitely don't know anything about, Paramore, gaining more fans in the process such as myself since I got to see them at the Enterprise Center. As I mentioned previously, Hayley Williams endorsed the band following their performance at the LA Public Library, but they could have also got connected to the band through Carlos since he produced most of their last 3 albums. Later that summer, the single, Growing Up, briefly ended up in the comedy movie Joyride. They were also on the remix of The News by Paramore that was released back in October. But I know you're looking at the title of this video and wondering, how could the Linda Lindas dominate rock? The first thing setting them up for domination is their youth. As of now, Bella is 19, Eloise is 15, Lucia just turned 17, and Mila's only 13. This allows them to be more relatable for younger listeners and build up their discography for years to come. Having a lot of impressionable fans sets them up with a huge audience to appeal to and grow up with. Secondly, they have a good amount of connections already through Carlos, the companies they've worked with, and the bands they've opened for so far. Next, they embody the punk rock genre greatly by making music and speaking out about certain political and racial issues we face in our everyday lives. This sets up the next generation to fight for what's right to them as well, so having a band that aligns with their beliefs only pushes them to want to listen to them more. Furthermore, they have great chemistry with each other since they've grown up together and just enjoy playing music together as friends and family without any of the drama that typically comes with bands. And lastly, they just make good and enjoyable music to listen to. They've made great progress with working with more pop-like songs so far, while also trying to master their punk sound too. This just shows the potential the girls have from being serious about their music for only 4.5 years now. Yet a great question to ask is, what's next for them? Looking towards the future, the band is opening for Green Day later this year and have released 3 singles since the release of Growing Up, which are Too Many Things, Resolution/Revolution, and Little Bit of Soul, which was made for the Amazon original movie Totally Killer. As of now, the band is most likely working on their sophomore album, which is yet to be revealed, so best of luck to them in that process. I believe that this is only the beginning of their journey into the music industry, so the future is bright for the group of girls from SoCal that just want to have fun. But if you'd like to know about another rock band that rose to prominence from a young age, go check out the Paramore Iceberg video that's on screen now.